Dr. Kohli, good morning. I want to talk first about the Moderna vaccine. Was it tested in a population representative of the general population?
Good morning, Natasha. So that was the great news about this vaccine. The way that they designed the clinical trials, it really did represent the general population very well. So there were about 47% females. Which we know is a high-risk group. There were 22% of people that had an additional high-risk feature, such as lung disease, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, or even HIV. They had some individuals in this trial that had HIV and chronic liver disease as well. And there were about 36% of people that represented communities of color. So I think a really good representation of our general community.
Okay, that is good to hear. Can you compare the two vaccines?
Yeah, everyone's been asking this question, and they're somewhat similar because they're both mRNA or messenger RNA vaccines. They both require 2 doses. They both have similar efficacy, just around 95%, but the dosing interval is a little different. So for the Pfizer vaccine, it's about 3 weeks from the first to the second dose, and for the Moderna vaccine, it's about 4 weeks from the first to the second dose. And what this means is that the Pfizer vaccine from the first dose takes about 4 weeks to build full immunity, whereas the Moderna vaccine will take 6 weeks to get to full immunity. Another subtle difference is that the Pfizer vaccine has been, emergency use authorized for those 16 and over, whereas for the Moderna vaccine, they're only applying for those 18 and over because they didn't have any younger people in their trials.
And, we've heard a lot about, the process of this vaccine. So what are the advantages of the Moderna vaccine over Pfizer?
2 big advantages in my mind. The first we've been talking about this morning, which is that it doesn't require as cold a storage. So it can be stored at minus 20 degrees, and once it's thawed, it stays in the fridge for 30 days, as opposed to the Pfizer vaccine, which has to be stored at minus 70 and can only be sitting in the fridge after thaw for 5 days. So obviously distribution and administration of this vaccine is going to be much easier. And for that reason, some people say it's a game changer. But in my mind, the more important impact of this vaccine is that the company actually says that they have data that it reduces not just severe and symptomatic COVID-19, but it also reduces asymptomatic infection, which I think is huge because, as we know, up to 40% of cases can be asymptomatic infection. So it's not just those people that are getting symptoms with the COVID-19, but even those that are asymptomatic spreaders. And they said it reduced that by 63% after just the first dose.
Wow, that is incredible. Very, very encouraging news there. Dr. Kohli, as always, thanks so much for coming on.
A few clouds have moved on to the front.